Coming, like most repairs. The first step in painting restoration. Again, it starts with disassembly. Then the current oil painting restoration master Baumgartner is headed. Ingo, Wisconsin. It's being disassembled, and here's one from 17th century Holland. Have antique aristocratic lady in extreme realist style. Small speech. Of course, as far as the disassembly step is concerned, the oil painting side can be said to be both simple and troublesome. The simplicity is in the number of steps. There are only 2 steps in total: guessing the picture frame and guessing the backscale. The trouble is that you can never guess. An ancient show. What kind of castle will the scholars use to show off this painting? For example, this one. What I disassembled with my bare hands was a wax pudding. It is mainly used to repair scratches. And what's left over here is the aging, fragile wax layer. We'll use a broken tendon scalpel to remove part of it first. After, then use a special solvent for a thorough cleaning. The solvents used here, most likely some low-level flexible solvents, such as mineral oil solvents, petroleum, ethane, etc. Then except for this patch on the back of the compound, and then you have these little bumps. These bumps are mainly used when painting front paint or base, formed by the compound fibers coming to the backside. These bumps can be cleaned if not. Then in the subsequent flattening of the canvas, in the process, it puts a necessary pressure on the front marks or dents. And in this leveling process, the canvas will be placed between 2 layers of absorbent cotton pulls. Tutorials can avoid excessive calories, damage the paint layer. The upper layer of soda cotton will carry moisture. Just match the vacuum pressure and heat. Supplement the necessary moisture for the chemical fiber. Let the whole canvas flatten out naturally. Then, when the leveling process of the hot stage is over, we also need to use a heavy object to suppress it for several days, to ensure, while the canvas adapts to the current humidity environment, will not curl and deform again. After waiting for days, here we go. The most decompressed canvas cleaning process will be carried out. First of all, Ange will use this kind of purposefully blended white neutral organic soap to remove the dirt from the surface of the canvas. Don't say this step is still more critical, because if this layer of dirt is not removed, then the next step is to clean it up with solvent, those yellowed old and clear, and the solvent can't reach the target. In other words, the dirt acts as a kind barrier. What Ange has to do is to remove the body barrier first, for subsequent operation can be carried out more effectively. Then, after cleaning up the dirt, now Ange can use the solvent to yellow that layer, old clear, for dissolution cleaning. I am here. If everyone contributes to the color change of cotton, you should be able to see how important are these 2 steps. After all, if you don't clean it up, we simply cannot really appreciate the painting, let alone understand what the painter wanted to express. And we can also see what exactly is extreme realism. Whether it's fabric, lace, or metal, in the painter's pen they all look like the real thing. After cleaning up, introduce what to deal with. It's this crack that was patched before. Here, Ainge will use more lightweight adjustment method to replace the big, heavy pudding from before. Specific approach. The actual approach is like this. First, apply a kind of coating to the crack, reversible repair and adhesives. Then put this root of Asia. Twine according to a certain spacing, laying like a bridge at either end of the crack. Embroidery like this. In addition to effectively stabilizing the cracks, the biggest advantage is that he is flat enough. Whether you want to add multiplication later, or some other operation, it can effectively reduce the risk of bulging. But so far, this canvas except for this crack, almost no problem elsewhere. It's absolutely perfect. So Ainge, don't plan to add a whole piece of new name to him. Instead, choose to use the adhesive film strip of the hot rice towel to add a new circle of Belgium linen skirt. With a new skirt. Then the next step we'll use these vintage square, small iron nail to reinstall the canvas into painter fashion. This time, what Ainge has in his hands is UECC, emulsion, and carbonaceous calcium mixed stuffed ring. Ainge will use him to fill the parts of the picture where the paint is missing. If this step is not filled here, instead, go straight to never work. In that case, even if you have absolute astringency, there will also be deviations in texture. After all, the height of the paint is different for him. So that's it. Filling jobs can not only effectively prevent the new paint is directly absorbed by the canvas, it can also improve the surface structure of the canvas, added close to the original painting. Now, before we do the redraw, still need to do is for the front of the canvas, add a relatively thick isolation layer to create a new layer to separate the redraw from the original painting. In addition, this isolation layer, it can also fill in small flaws and the effect of touch-up. So what we're going to do is paint redrawing of missing areas. Although the damage to the entire canvas is minor, but it's even harder because the details are much finer. The fault-tolerant space becomes extremely small. This is like an ordinary can of water. Go to Ollie's hands. This becomes like an oral liquid. So, here is also a good experience of grid repair technology. By the way, after never finishing the job, Ainge, he still needs to apply a layer to the canvas. Museum-grade UV resistance. Clear protection, but he didn't give the corresponding picture here. So let's take a look directly at this one. 17th century nobility. Lady portrait. Reading comparison before and after restoration. So that's it for this Issues Fix video. Thanks for watching. WFI of Florox Radio. Shake the dynamic card empty. Bye. Again. Thank you for coming to Max's Restoration.